Alright, so hopefully by now you've got Seymour installed, and I'm going to show you how to use this software. It's in the other video, but I thought I'd run it from the PC and let you see a clear version and talk a little bit about how we're going to utilize this and some of the things like protocols and all that. So I accept the default project name as new project 1, and I'm just going to put test here. Now our HMI, it's going to vary with which type of HMI, but the HMI in the lab is the EA3T6CL. And the protocol that we use to talk to it is the DH45 Allen Bradley Micrologics. That's the the PLC, and the protocol that we use to talk with that PLC. So if you watched the other video, you already know that we have to have an HMI program, we have to have a PLC program, and we have to have communications between the HMI and the PLC. So we have to create that HMI program, we have to create the PLC program and incorporate any bits, storage bits that we used in the HMI, and make all of that happen. So that's what we're going to do here. So project names, whatever you want. This right here is going to be Allen Bradley DH45, and I'm going to hit OK. So we're going to do a start project. I'm going to make this full screen. Now this palette that you see here is indicative of the screen size for that EA3T6L. So this is kind of a preview of what you're going to get. So let's just say on this conveyor system we have 2 push buttons, and we do. We have push button 1, and it's green, so we're going to just accept that default green, but we're going to make it round because our buttons are round, and just because in a minute I'm going to resize that to be round, not oval. Now we can give that a tag name, so I'm going to call it start button, and apparently my caps lock is on. Yes, nope, it's not. Okay, I guess it just capitalizes everything, which is fine. Start button. Now this is an input in the real world. We're sending a signal from a voltage level through this switch into the PLC. But obviously, an HMI button is not a physical I/O. It's not going to be attached to the PLC. It's going to be a storage bit. And we're just going to turn that bit on and off virtually into the PLC by pressing this button, and that'll happen because once we assign the storage bit to it and hook it to our PLC, it can address the PLC and say, hey, this bit's either on or off based on where it's at. So we're going to go OK right here. Now we can have off text and all that. I'll let you play with this as much as you would like. And it is not a toggle, it is a momentary on. And just a minute, I didn't press the right button. Okay, I guess I did. Alright, so this is a discrete device. It's either on or off. And I don't know why it's giving me this tag name. Alright, let's go ahead and click this. Alright, yep. So we're going to choose storage bit. Now the file area for storage is 3:0. Well, and the word is 0. We're going to use word 0. And we're going to use bit 0. So what this is telling the PLC is this particular button, this virtual button, is assigned to file area 3, word 0, bit 0. And we're going to hit add. And there we go. And we're going to change that to a momentary on at file 11. Now I have to go ahead and assign that to it. So we're going to hit OK. Now I'm going to resize this button, and I like it where it looks round here, and we can move it. So I'm going to put it right there. So I'm going to add another button, and I'm going to use the same one and drag it over. And I'm going to give it stop. Stop button. Now our stop button is red, so we would want to do that. So we're going to go right here, and we're going to choose this nice red color. And we're going to go here, and it's a discrete device. It's a storage bit, B30. So we got to change that to file 3, word 0, bit 0, add. And we're going to hit OK. So we're going to put that right here. And if you notice they aren't the same size, I don't know quite how that happened, but we're going to try to resize them to be approximately the same size here because we want it to look professional. That's a little bit bigger. So there we are. So fairly close, except this is on. And let me edit that one. So I'm going to go to Object Properties. And I'm going to just change this to say Start. Oops. Start. STRTOFF. I don't know if there's enough room, but we'll see. STRTOFF. Okay. Yeah, right that. But if we do that, so I'm going to do the same thing here. And that should be stopped. That's okay, we can fix that. So let's do STRTOFF. STRTON. Hit OK. I'll resize it to match its partner here, so we need to go change that to stop rather than start. STOP. STOP. Now, because these are momentary, you won't see these buttons change state too often on the HMI. In fact, let's just call it start and stop. It's funny how you think of things after the fact, so we're just going to say start. And since there's enough room, we'll write ART and do the same for this guy. So this is the kind of things, as you really think about it, it makes more sense not having on and off. But the status reflects that well enough. So we'll take the words off here. There we go. So let's get this to a hair bigger, it looks like. And I'm pretty happy with that. I think this will just maybe right there. Oh, probably closer to the first time. Alright, and we'll level them out. So, we have created a virtual bit for these buttons, and when we interface them to the PLC, they'll be able to go into the data table and change that particular word and bit address based on whether we press them or not. And so we're going to have to modify our program to incorporate that. Our PLC program. So if, for instance, in our PLC we had the physical start button in there to start the conveyor, this virtual start button is going to have to parallel that button. Same goes with our stop, except our stop may not be a parallel, it may be an inline. And I'm going to let you think about that. If you need some help with that, let me know. But this stop, this would parallel, this may have to go in line with the real world stop. And I'll let you ponder on that. Hopefully you understand that, because that's pretty critical. So the other thing we're going to do is we're going to add lamps. Now these were indicators. We're going to say we want an indicator. Here we are. These were buttons, I'm sorry. We want an indicator. I said that backwards. These are found under push buttons, and these are found under indicators. So we want an indicator lamp. And since we have squares, we'll use that. So I'm going to drag that over. And this indicator is going to be conveyor off. And this is going to be conveyor on. Now this is tied to a real world output. So we won't give it a virtual. We'll actually say, go look at this table out here, and we want you to turn this indicator on when the real world output's on and turn this indicator off when the real world output is off. So we're going to choose an output, and this output is address 0, bit 4. And we're going to hit add. Okay. So there we go. And now we could add other indicators. There's lamps in these buttons. We could have those in there. And in fact, your project is ultimately going to be to do that. But what I want you to do for me is when you create this project, and I'm going to give you the parameters for creating this project, I want you to do a file, save project as, and save that project. And this is what you're going to upload to me to look at. So I'm going to set the parameters of a project, and you're going to send me the file that shows that. So again, these are virtual buttons. They are not physically tied to the PLC, but when we connect the HMI that displays this to the PLC, pressing this button will write to the table in the virtual, not virtual, but will write to the table in the PLC. And pressing this virtual button will put a 1 in B3, file area 0, word 0, B3, file area, word 0, bit 0. This will do the same for B3, file area, word 0, bit 1. And those will have to be incorporated into your program. Otherwise, we'd only be writing to the table. We would be doing nothing in our program. So the second thing you're going to send me in a different file is the modified program to do this. So that's your task. If you have questions, please let me know. And you can be as fancy as you like. There's some pretty fancy stuff in here. And if you want to play with this software and get even more familiar with it, that is absolutely fine. But this is HMI at its purest. And this is the ability for an operator to operate this remotely from some other station besides the where the physical buttons are, and see different things. And of course, we could do all kind of things, put error messages up here, do all various things, show them indicators of motors on, and where the process is at any particular point. So a lot of good stuff here. So but this is what I'm asking you to do, and I will give you the parameters for that project in a separate area.